Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
And one of the things that we face in the world today is a society that is constantly telling the wife, don't you allow your life to be submitted or to serve his. You go out and compete with him. You do everything as well as he can. Anything you can do, I can do better. The problem is that whenever a wife loses sight of what God has created her to do inside the household, she's not competing with her husband, she's competing with God's purpose.
It is a heavy responsibility, ladies. It's a heavy responsibility that when a man confides in you to let you know his weakness, you're not packing that away as a weapon later. Because that's what the fear is. The fear is she gonna use this against me later. She gonna, oh, you was crying about your daddy issues 2 days ago, but now you don't no man wanna hear that. Don't no man want you to use their vulnerabilities as a weapon.
I think men love more authentically than women.
Huh?
Oh, and this is what I mean by that.
You said, say that again.
I said, I think men love more authentically than women. And this is why.
I can agree, but go ahead.
Women are in love with love.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And because of that, I think you guys are wired to stick anybody in that spot. You can make him fit.
The term furry, it refers to someone interested in animals with human qualities. Now, they dress up like this as a cartoon version of an animal. Now, we've learned there have been reports at Nebo Middle School that students are getting mistreated over this topic.
There was some kids dressed up as animals, and I heard that another kid got bit by one of them.
There's a lot of speculation surrounding the protest that happened at Nebo Middle School Wednesday morning. Nearly 75 students and parents showed up facing the school, saying they're unhappy with how administration is handling reports of harassment.
Why we not talk? Well, let's talk about it.
We live. We live. Yeah.
That's the show, Dada.
The last 7 days have been totally insane, but we made it. Now buckle up and get ready for the most organic conversation on the internet with your hosts, The Force, The King, The Kamikaze, The Great and Terrible. Up to it, down to it. Pour a glass and talk some trash. Welcome to the show, and thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a good time tonight right along with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Let's go up to it.
Yeah, Pull it up, man. Yes, sir. We back here on another Friday night, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
What's going on? Pour your glass. Get ready to talk some trash, man. We're going to have us some fun tonight. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Assuming we can still call you that. Welcome back to another episode of Up to It, Down to It with the most organic conversation on the internet with your Friday Night Delights here. Y'all know what time it is, man. We're going to have us a good time. I'm the Great and Terrible. We got a lot of stuff to cover tonight, man. I'm going to get right into it so we can get into these shots because, man, with some of these topics, some of these things we talking about tonight, I promise you, you don't need at least a shot, all right? I'm
taking one just because?
We could take one just because it's about to get real. Y'all saw that at the beginning, at the top of the show. It's about to get real wild tonight. So, salute, up to it, down to it. Y'all know what to do with those who don't do it. We do it because we used to it. So, drink, muff, drink.
Zesty Man said, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it, man. Let's get right into it. Let's get into some intros real quick, man. Right over there on my left, on your right on the screen. Number one in our hearts. He just had his birthday, just had us a nice little celebration this last week, man. It was awesome. Give it up for my man, The Immovable Force. Kev, what's up with you, brother? Talk to you. What up with you?
Bounce, smooth. If you bout it. Happy Friday, everybody. NFL draft going on, NBA playoffs is going on. Kids are still fighting every day. Opioid epidemic is still on the rise. And one bag of groceries is $800. So we finna drink whatever we can get our hands on because, life is doing its thing. This is the Basil Hayden, Kentucky Straight. Bourbon whiskey, just absolutely beautiful. It's actually what I just took a shot of. We're gonna mix it with the Sprite when we can't take the shots, but it's just gonna be a whole lot of this all night and ain't got nowhere to go tomorrow. So, I can crawl from here to the bed or just sleep on the sofa. Either way, pour yourself a glass. Let me know what you're drinking in the comments. All right, and as long as it's not Aquafina, and I promise y'all, no Aquafina. Got the big jug of Deer Park because we're probably gonna need that after the show too. All right, as long as it ain't Aquafina, we're not judging you. Pour a glass. Let's talk some trash. Let's have a great show. And thank y'all for the birthday wishes. Man, we turned up this week. I appreciate the love. 38, 30, great. I'm here in these streets. You feel me?
Yeah, man. Real good time, man. Real good time. Big shout out to On the Rocks in Millersville, man. Turning up for us this past Wednesday, man. It was a lot of good people, a lot of good vibes, a lot of good fun, good music. The bros turned up, man. Big shout out to Calvin and Josh, man, coming through, turning up on the mic along with Kev, man. It was good. It was a good time, man. Really good time. Big shout out to Diamond, man. The constant contributor on the show here. Sure. Always in the comments, giving us some good commentary and good feedback, man. She was at the party with us on Wednesday too, man. So that was cool, man. It's real good stuff.
For sure.
All right. Hey, man, without further ado, my man, look, man, we almost 20 years in. I see you got, almost. The SWO right there. So I'm going to let my mans get to it. My LB, the inspirational King Rich, man. Talk to us, my brother.
Oh, man. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am doing fine like wine and getting better with time, and I hope you are too. I'm going to be real quick because I don't have a lot to say. It's just been a lot going on. So, it's been a lot of loved ones lost and sometimes they say that it comes in threes. It seems like it came in fours this time around. But shout out to everybody who, is going through a rough time, man. I want to say that, you're going to get through it. Keep going, man. Just remember the good times, celebrate life. It's about celebrating life. And so in celebration of life, I'm going to say, I'm gonna do a toast for the podcast. Okay, I'm gonna do a toast for the podcast. And here's another funny one because I've been on this like funny kick, so I'm gonna switch this one up. You might have heard it. I'm gonna switch it up. Here's to good life. Here's to the podcast. Here's to honor. If you can't come in or come on her. There you go. Let's go. Cheers. Let's have a good night. It's gonna be great.
Hey, if you can't come in, come on.
You see how I switched that up a little bit? Y'all know about that one. I had to switch that up.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Come on, great time.
If you know what it is, let us know in the comments. But
there you go. Look at Diamond. There you go, Diamond.
I think we all know what it is, man.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah. Hey, man. That's when you came in or came on her.
We've got ourselves a show here. We've got ourselves a show here.
My goodness, we already 2 shots in, and we barely 10 minutes in. We less than 10 minutes where we've been on video, so less than 10 minutes. We're 2 shots in. We've got some. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a crazy night. Hope y'all are having a good time, man. Big shout out to the comment section as always, man. Y'all are always dope. That's part of everything that we do, man. Reach out in the comments. Let us know what y'all think. Like, share, and subscribe if you have not already. Get ready to tell a friend. Let all your friends know. Your married friends, you're definitely gonna want them to tune in tonight. You're not married friends. You're almost married friends. You're in a relationship friends. You're one day I want to have a strong relationship friends. Y'all gonna want to tune in tonight. All the above. You're gonna want to hear that. But before we get into that, a couple of things that I saw pop up just in general news feed. And I don't have a a slide or nothing like this for it, but I think we should maybe have something called like a did you hear or did you know? Let's call it a did you hear. I think ESPN did you know, and we don't want no trouble. So
no smoke.
we don't want no smoke. So, but all right, but we'll call this one did you hear? So first of all, y'all remember Lunchables. Speaking of things that we will judge you for drinking or eating. Y'all heard about Lunchables?
Damn.
I did hear about Lunchables. I did.
It's depressing. Wow, but
did they hear about? Did y'all hear about Lunchables?
Did y'all hear about it?
Sound off in the comments.
What did y'all hear about? What did y'all hear about Lunchables, fellas?
So I heard that Lunchables are, I feel like much like everything else, they're designed to kill you. That there's a wild amount of sodium and then like some harsh, like additives or whatever that are in them that it's basically like a lunchbox cancer. Yeah, they real wild. Crazy though. I never really ate Lunchables like that growing up. Like we didn't have a lot, so we got bagged lunches. Like, Lunchables were a thing of the rich.
Yeah, growing up, Lunchables was like beyond no. It was baloney. It's that, so Lunchables, yeah. And I heard it was high levels of lead, in these Lunchables. Now they do have many different types, but maybe it's all Lunchables. Doesn't matter. I've actually had a Lunchable recently, and it's actually trash. I'm sorry.
My bougie kid.
I can't believe that I like I wanted these as a kid. Like I didn't have them a whole lot. Like it was like a friend would have them, So I'd be like, oh yeah, it was a nostalgia at the time, I guess, because Mom Dukes just didn't buy those.
My kid rejected the Lunchable, so and he's a avid pizza eater. So I got him the little pizza one, and he was he ate the pepperonis and kept it pushing.
I was about to say, mine does this. Well, he's picky. He only picks certain things, and he'll have crackers. He'll probably eat the cookie, or if I get him one with the cheese and turkey or whatever, he might eat the cheese and one or two turkeys. He doesn't even eat the whole thing. So that's got to tell you that's telling, right? Because animals do the same thing. It's like McDonald's food. You don't see a bunch of animals tearing up McDonald's food, or you don't even see McDonald's food spoiling. All right, and I feel like I've never seen a Lunchable spoil. So,
yeah, a Lunchable is edible Aquafina to me. That's
a great analogy.
Yeah, it's been trash. So, we finding out now that it has lead in it. I mean, to be totally honest,
high levels.
It almost makes
high
sense.
levels.
It almost makes sense.
Yeah. I'm not in the least bit surprised. I mean, of all the foods that were ever made, that to me seemed like it was probably designed to give you some kind of cancer or something like that. It was a Lunchable, man. I've tried the different ones. The pizza one was absolute garbage. I mean, you might as well be ketchup on toast. You know what I'm saying?
Pita bread. Ketchup on pita bread.
Ketchup on pita bread on dry, soggy pita. How something dry and soggy at the same time is crazy, but It's dry, dry, soggy pita bread. With I can't even classify that as pizza sauce. It's trash. It's so bad. I'm gonna move on from it because Lunchables, that shit makes my stomach turn. The next thing, I don't know if y'all heard this or not. Apparently, the state of Tennessee, and we talked about something similar to this a little while back. But the state of Tennessee passed a bill allowing teachers and staffers that's right, to carry the pew-pews in the school. Fellas, how y'all feel about that?
I did see that in passing. I didn't get a chance to look deeply into it. I'm gonna let Kev go because
Let's go. Let's go. Listen, the number of times, and it's gonna be all jokes from me, but I'm a little dead ass at the same time. The number of times that I would have pistol whipped a kid is unhinged. So first of all, I teach high school. For those of you who are new to this, I teach high school. There was a kid for 4 years who like terrorized me as a person. He was in my class his freshman year. He was a piece of shit, and I mean that. Like, if I saw him on the street now, I would fight him. And throughout his whole high school career, which is a miracle he graduated on time, but of course, I'm not surprised because they push everybody through at this point. But in his senior year, he said something smart to me in the hallway, and I turned around and I walked away from him, and I could feel him like running up on me, which he was. So I turned around and he just stopped, and I was like, "The fuck are you running up on me for?" Like, it's situations like that. Like, when I feel threatened, I would immediately pistol whip you. Because why would you even play with me like that? And everybody else knew what was about to happen to him, and they had to like get me up out of that space. But I would have been well within my rights. Because again, why are you running up on me like that? So that's what we need. It's gonna be real quiet in classrooms when you know that your teacher is strapped. Ain't gonna be no more smacking your teacher in the face if you know that they got that blicky right on their hip. You know what I'm saying? So like I want to see these kids in order. My only concern is that the majority of the shootings are gonna, like, if you have multiple floors in your school, it's gonna be because a bullet went through the roof. Because the teacher said, "I want quiet," and puts a shot in the air, and then somebody on the floor above them gets shot. Yeah. So that's my only concern. But pum 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 pum. Let's go.
Yeah. Man, look, I think I said it before, and I'll say it again. In my opinion, I am all good with this. I know some people say, it's all fun and games till somebody kid gets shot, and all I'm saying is some of y'all kids need to get introduced to the pew pew. All right, I'm just saying. I know that's an unpopular opinion, maybe, but some of y'all kids are straight up out of control. We just got to call it what it is. And so
maybe some of them need to get shot in the foot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think sometimes we ask the wrong question. Really, the question shouldn't be, "Why'd you shoot my kid?" The question should be, why did your kid get himself put in a position where the grown up wanted to shoot him? Like, right, right. I mean, there's probably going to be a couple of erroneous grown ups, as there are in many cases anyway. But in real life, like you said, Kev, it's going to be a different story. When you know that teacher, that administrator, that janitor, whatever it is, when they got that piece on them. It's a different story. Now you got to make a life or death decision. And I think it's the same thing even when it comes to school shootings. I've said for a while, a lot of the schools and churches are the most vulnerable, most susceptible to stuff like this because there ain't nobody there to to force to enforce their freedom, to enforce their will to be there. You know what I'm saying? There's no way to enforce somebody coming in and there being a consequence to them coming in and doing something. Right? In a lot of schools and a lot of churches. So I'm here for that. Now, also for the record, I still think that the best way to curtail all the violence in the school is to get actual, trained, armed security in the schools, multiple ones on each floor, right? However you work that out. I think that's the best way to do it. But short of doing that, I think giving the teachers the staff the right to carry a concealed weapon, I'm on board with that.
You know, of course, it's supposed to be in the best interest of protecting, the students, right? But listen, again,
fuck them kids. I gotta
kids
get
gotta
home.
learn. Kids gotta learn. Hey, what y'all sidebar though? What y'all think about Fight Club? Why? Listen, these schools need to think about implementing the Fight Club, man. Have it organized. Have an organized place for these kids to let's think outside the box here. All right. They're gonna fight anyway. Why not have a structured whatever, get the gym going, they're gonna have the cameras out anyway. They're gonna fight anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, all right, so here we go. LB, you know about this. Listen, we used to have Fight Club in private school. It was a time and a place. We didn't do it in a learning center because we didn't want to hinder our outside our what is it? Recess. There you go.
Doggone recess.
We were smart about it. We was like, no. We gonna wait till Fight Club. Fight Club was in the bathroom. Okay? Because if you had a female teacher, she couldn't come in. And guess what? Boy, we used to get it in. It was like, boom, boom, boom. We already know. You already knew who was going against who. I'm just saying. If it could be organized and they're going to fight anyway, I mean, it might be something to consider. I don't know. Sound off in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. I could just be, spitting things up into the atmosphere and whatever.
He proposed Fight Club in the schools. Yo, Fight Club in the schools. Are you down for Fight Club in the schools? Let us know in the comments, man. Sound off.
I mean, hell, if they, first of all, kids play sports and beat the hell out of each other in the sports. So why not add a boxing club and let them put on gloves and, little sparring helmets so that you can at least protect their craniums, but let them get a 3-minute round to just get their stuff off their chest and agree that whatever happens at that point, y'all walk away. And if you can't walk away after that, then you get suspended. So y'all get a chance to duke it out. You know what I'm saying?
Bang.
Right. And then after it's all said and done, everybody goes on about their business.
Essentially that's kind of how it was. It was just an unspoken rule. Like we're gonna meet after the bell ring, after the teachers don't have power over us anymore. And we're gonna go out into the yard, or we're gonna meet at the bus stop, or hell, sometimes we would get off the bus, right? Get off the bus at basically our home destination. Ain't nobody else around to stop this, right? So now let's get it in. And hey, look, it is gonna be like that, but yeah, I think the main thing is the teachers got to protect themselves, because honestly, I'm not a teacher, and part of the reason why I'm not a teacher is probably because I have this attitude, and that is, fuck these kids. I'm getting home. I'm going home. Okay, so fuck you and your kid. Fuck you and your snot nose ass kid. All right.
And the click.
Straight like that. So I ain't trying to hear it. However, segue. Boom. Speaking of the kids. Sometimes maybe the kids got it right. I got a story here for y'all. This is all the way from out of Utah. Where we had middle school kids stage a walkout because of unfavorable conditions in the school. What unfavorable conditions? Unfavorable conditions. Now you might be saying that yourself, what kind of unfavorable conditions are we talking about? Are we talking about no AC in the school? I mean that is a pretty unfavorable condition, right? Are we talking about maybe it's the opposite? Maybe it's no heat, right? You know what I'm saying? No heat in the school. That's pretty whack, right? Maybe it's Maybe it's the school food is whack. They serving Lunchables, and they serving Lunchables. Got the nerve to serve Lunchables with Aquafina.
With Aquafina. Oh.
With Aquafina.
Double offense.
I mean, we just can't get a whole lot much more worse than that.
Yeah.
Right. So are those the things maybe, just maybe, that's going on that make you say, yeah, I can see why these kids walked out? No, it's not that. It's none of those. It's none of the above. You won't believe me if I told you. So let's just take a look.
We begin in Payson, where a group of about 75 protesters showed up to Nebo Middle School today. They say it's an issue over students who call themselves furries. But how much of that discontent is fueled by rumor? Our Sarah Murphy asked that question. She's here with what she found out. Sarah, what's this all about?
All right, Brian. Well, the term furry, it refers to someone interested in animals with human qualities. Now, they dress up like this as a cartoon version of an animal. Now, we've learned there have been reports at Nebo Middle School that students are getting mistreated over this topic.
There was some kids dressed up as animals, and I heard that another kid got bit by one of them.
There's a lot of speculation surrounding the protest that happened at Nebo Middle School Wednesday morning. Nearly 75 students and parents showed up facing the school, saying they're unhappy with how administration is handling reports of harassment.
Okay.
You guys cannot record me without my permission! This is video a Nebo Middle School student took last week. Parents say there's an issue between some students and others who call themselves furries, or people who enjoy dressing up as cartoonish animals.
Back when I went to school, you couldn't dress that way, you couldn't do certain things, and I think it kind of needs to go back a little bit. Like, I know kids need their own personalities, but it's ridiculous when kids are dressing like animals and licking and biting people. I just don't think that's okay.
But the Nebo School District tells us it's not that extreme. Seth Sorensen says no one was scratching or biting anyone, and that there are a lot of untrue rumors going around.
It actually is not something that's been occurring. In fact, a lot of the information that's been put out there is completely incorrect and inaccurate, and so we're still trying to get on top of that.
Thank you. This is Strudel, a member of the furry fandom. Though they've been a furry for over a decade, they have their own opinions.
It's crazy that it's escalated to this point where these kids are being so distracting to their peers that their peers want to stage a walkout. So to have, the next generation kind of muddy our name and not represent it very well, it is kind of disappointing.
Strudel believes there should be some limits.
Continue doing things you like, continue dressing up, continue making art, but maybe let's keep it outside of school hours.
As for the school, Sorensen says they have one main goal.
We want every student to feel safe when they come to school, and we want students to get along. In fact, we want adults to get along.
Okay, so the district says they've worked with some students whose dress and appearance they say might be disruptive to the school environment. They say they do invite parents to talk with administration to learn more about how they're handling this.
What kind? What?
Just put them all in uniform. Like, put them all in uniform. Like, because if you let a child come to school dressed as a panda,
my gummy wore off a long time ago.
So
this has to be legit.
I wish I were making this up.
I got a problem with them letting kids come to school in their pajamas. This is beyond that. This is totally distracting.
Yeah.
Just put them all in uniform. Just khakis, blue shirt, white shirt, green shirt, whatever. And then parents still want to fight you when it comes to uniform. Like, oh, boy, I ain't got the money to buy them uniform. Well, you had the money to buy them Jordans. You had the money to buy what?
Talk about it.
He was dressed up as a cartoon puppy.
So
You know,
But even the cartoon puppy said, after school hours, have a club for it. Do it after school. You guys can put your stuff, your little stuffy, little fluffy animals in your locker, and when it's school bell rings, ding, it's just like drama club. That was after school, marching band, all of that. Like,
She was dressed as a cartoon puppy.
Yep.
And the emo girl screamed, "You don't have permission to record me." And this is actually real.
do you?
It's almost like someone's playing a trick on us, because that's how ridiculous it is. Except this is real, and I like to show this kind of stuff because there are people, there are a contingency of people who will tell us that these things are not happening. In fact, the principal of the school where it is happening is telling us that it's not happening. I just want y'all to pay attention. I keep saying, keep your head on the swivel, right? All that good stuff, believe none of what you see and half of what you hear and all that, or half of what you see and none of what you hear, or whatever it is that I say. I'll figure it out at the end because I always say it at the end. But I always say stuff like that. But literally, this is another one of those examples of that thing that they say is not happening. We're watching it. In fact, here's some more evidence of it. Let's take a look at this.
A group of students at a Utah middle school recently exercised their right to gather and protest furries who were attacking them, disturbing their learning environment, and were allegedly using the litter box on school property. Watch this.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, these furries gotta go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, these furries gotta go. They either bite us, they scratch us, they bark at us, they pounce on us, and then they run on all fours and pounce on people.
Why are they spraying you with Febreze?
Just because we apparently have rabies. And there's a rumor that they've been putting litter boxes in the girls' bathroom. And they started putting litter boxes.
I heard that was just a rumor.
No, it's true.
The local media is flailing, of course, trying to gaslight everyone into thinking that it didn't happen at all, or at least that it was a misinterpretation. Are they possibly trying to insinuate that children have overactive imaginations? Well, that would go against their whole narrative, wouldn't it? About how kids can choose their gender and now their species.
We are getting sprayed with Febreze in the eyes and Axe, and we're getting bitten and barked at, and it's distracting from our learning and being able to feel safe at school.
If the schools are allowing the furries to be aggressive without fear of retaliation, doesn't that mean that the school itself is promoting violence and bullying?
And honestly, furries are a very sexual thing, and that's not okay to be bringing into a middle school. They're wearing tail butt plugs, and it's awful. It's really bad. So we needed to fix the problem, and this is the only way.
I'm sorry, I got to stop it right there because she just said a lot. And the first part is that, lest we forget, this is the part that we have to remember, guys. This is it's sexual in nature, right? Furries is not what that news reporter said. That news reporter said people that like, fictional creatures and animals and stuff. No, it's not. It's a sexual attraction. It's like a sexual attraction. Sorry, it's a sexual attraction, kind of like lunars, like people who are turned on by balloons, right? These are real things. I know, Kev, I'm with you, but these are real things, and they are sexual in nature. And the thing is, as we've talked about before, if that's what you like, some people are into some weird shit. It's weird to me. If that's what you like to do, fine, but keep it away from the kids. Why is it so hard for these people who are into these weird things to keep their weird shit away from the kids?
She said butt plugs.
So, all right.
She said butt plugs.
There's butt plugs in middle school. There's people walking around with butt plugs in middle school. And administration's doing nothing about it. How is this possible?
So, all right. So, let me play devil's advocate, right? If, in fact, the mob mentality has taken over and people are afraid and they went and took what somebody said and then now the fear mongering has happened and everybody's afraid because one person said somebody got bit, this, that, and the third and whatnot. Again, why is this even allowed at all during school hours where they're supposed to be learning, not furrying? Again, this is so simple. It's logical. This shouldn't even be an issue if they weren't allowed to furry during school hours. We're about, come on. Come on, this is not even an issue. Like, let's just say it is true that nobody got bit or nobody, like, this is the whole mob mentality. This wouldn't even be an issue. School, take some initiative, put your foot down, say, hey, guess what? There's no more furring. There's no more whatever else. Like, take it all away. Let's get back to what we're here for. Learning.
Not furrying.
Like, all these, that's extra. Furrying is extracurricular. That's an extracurricular activity.
Sounds about white.
Do it after. And if anybody sticks around, then you're sticking around to get bit or whatever it is that they furry do. Okay? I don't know. I'm just saying, like this. It just seems so logical.
It should not be
components out. We're here to learn.
In school, it just shouldn't be in school. Like, it shouldn't be allowed. There's certain things you don't allow in school. Like, you wouldn't allow a porn star. I don't think. Let me say I don't believe. Because Lord knows what we'll allow nowadays. Yeah, we don't let drag queens come into school. I seen a video not too long ago with drag queens getting the kids to chant behind him. If you're a drag queen and you know it, clap your hands, like that kind of thing. Like, what are we talking about? This is real. This is one of those things that they tell us aren't happening. That's clearly happening. Another one of those things. But whatever. Like I said, if you're whatever weird shit you're into, fine, but keep the kids out of it. Really keep everybody out of it, because whatever little stuff you do is between you, your partner, and your God, whoever your God may or may not be. Okay, like you got to answer for that. I got to answer for the crap that I done. You got to answer for that. I ain't got to answer for that. All right, all right. So. But keep it away from the kids either way, man. And the fact that the children had to be the ones to say, nah, this is wrong and this is disrupting our learning environment. Where are the adults? Where are the grown-ups?
Furrying.
With the kids? Oh.
No, they're furrying with each other. They're back offices with butt plugs.
They probably, listen, all I'm saying is, you show me a kid with a butt plug, I'll show you a kid who was shown about butt plugs by probably an adult.
And it's really it's never too early to have your kids evaluated.
Dang. You can't say you're furred anymore. I'm furred. You can't. Don't say that.
Drank so much you got furried.
Furby.
It's never too early to have your kids evaluated. And it's never too late to get evaluated yourself, because
that's real.
We all need therapy.
I'm like this close.
They busy being lunars. Look, man. Listen, again, for me personally, I couldn't care less what you into in your bedroom. But the fact that I know what you into in your bedroom means that it got out your bedroom. So put it back. So leave all that shit back in your bedroom. That's all. You ain't got to involve. You certainly ain't got to involve children in it. Let's move on. We had kids running around the school, furrying and biting each other. What is happening?
Won't someone please think of the children?
For real. Oh my gosh. All right, let's switch gears real quick, man. Y'all know, so shout out to everybody again that's on with us right now. And if you've been with us for a while, you know that one of our number one objectives is to make families great again, right? Now, if you look at what we just finished dang talking about, we got doggone children running around a school getting furried and attempting to fur other people, right? Attempting to fur other children, and we got parents or the grown-ups over there too busy being looners, allegedly, while the children are out here furring each other. This is a problem, and I think a big problem with that is that we have gotten away from the traditional values of family. We stopped putting respect on family. We stopped putting respect on marriage. We stopped putting respect on kids being born, inside the home, fathers being in the home, mothers being in the home, everybody working towards their own family, helping their individual community out as best as they possibly can. We just got away from a lot of that, right? And I think the foundation on that is marriage. I think it all starts my opinion still is it starts with the nuclear family. It starts right there because everybody that has been born was born 100% to some form of heterosexual act. All right, anyway. So but everybody, I honestly do believe that we need to get back to some of those principles. So we talked to a lot of our audience, and our audience says, hey man, we like when y'all talk about marriage and some of the pitfalls and stuff like that. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about that. So y'all gonna want to get your shot glasses ready for this one, okay? Because this is the issue with some people's mouth. This is weaponized vulnerability. And we've talked a little while back about how men tend to not want to open up to women out of fear that vulnerability, that vulnerable moment is going to be used or weaponized, if you will, against them, right? That, among other things, other principles within marriage we've talked about. So I just poured my glass. Y'all got anything y'all want to add to this before I play this video?
This is all liquor. We need to do this.
Mine is in the air. We are ready. Let's get down to it. Let's talk about weaponized vulnerability.
Girls, because they have kids, fuck them.
No.
It's like, fuck those type of dudes.
But let me tell you why.
It's like, you know what? Us women with kids, we know how to hustle. We're smart. We get jobs done.
You bring a man in a relationship when you have a son, are you going to put him before your son?
Absolutely not.
There you go. Bingo.
One reason that a marriage will not work is because the husband does not lead and the wife does not help.
I come from a household, I come from a mother that will tear her man down with her tongue. I come from a mother that I'm like, Ma, you should not be saying that to a man. So that's where I come from. And I wholeheartedly believe that it's required for any healthy relationship, for your marriage, your relationship to be your safe space.
You become his competitor instead of his complement. And one of the things that we face in the world today is a society that is constantly telling the wife, don't you allow your life to be submitted or to serve his. You go out and compete with him. You do everything as well as he can. Anything you can do, I can do better. The problem is that whenever a wife loses sight of what God has created her to do inside the household, she's not competing with her husband. She's competing with God's purpose. And when you compete with God's purpose, guess who never wins? You.
Men ask my husband all the time, how you don't be thinking about other women, bro? Like, is it hard for you not to cheat? I'm like, what do they mean? Is it hard? You have everything you need at home.
Accept this fact. Your man needs help, and God has sent you into his life to do just that. So what does he need help with? Everything. But how you help him is how you measure your willingness to submit to God's word. You don't help him by keeping a record of all of his wrongs. Go read 1 Corinthians. It says, love keeps no record of what? Wrong. When you find a fault in your man, you just put that on your list of things to fix at some point in time. But you fix it with gentleness and you fix it with love. You don't fix it by pointing it out and constantly bringing it up every chance that you get. God made you as a woman different from your husband for a reason, so that your strengths would complement his weaknesses and his strengths would complement your weaknesses. When you see something in your husband that's a shortcoming, you just add that to your job description. We'll fix that later.
I don't need you to go outside of this home to talk to your friends that don't know nothing. I don't care. Some of these men is dumb. Some of my husband's friends, they dumb. Y'all don't know nothing. Y'all not even married. But to be able to come to me, and it's so important that it is a heavy responsibility, ladies. It's a heavy responsibility that when a man confides in you to let you know his weakness, you're not packing that away as a weapon later. Because that's what the fear is. The fear is she gonna use this against me later. She go, oh, you was crying about your daddy issues 2 days ago, but now you don't no man wanna hear that. Don't no man want you to use their vulnerabilities as a weapon.
We're sick people. We're working for the future, because working for the present, we ain't making no progress.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, definitely was not wrong about needing a shot for that segment. Lots of stuff to unpack right there. A few different things. LB, why don't you jump in, man? What are your thoughts on what you just heard?
It's a lot to unpack there. I mean, the young lady was speaking facts. She sounded like she's just well educated and in understanding the needs of her man, of most men, because again, it's not all, it's in this case it's most though, uh because no, seriously, it's tough for a man to be vulnerable, period, because you're taught to be strong, be the provider, be the protector, to be impenetrable. You're taught to to fight. So to find someone that you can be vulnerable with, it's a big deal. And then once that trust is broken, I in some cases now, that one lady has messed it up for the rest of the ladies, or whatever the case may be. But it also comes back to, like, if you're telling me open up, if you're telling me be vulnerable, this, that, and the third, but you have an ulterior motive, again, like, that's deceit. That's it's not going to end well. It's not going to end well. So she was spitting facts. She was spitting 100% facts. Like, and then, whether you believe it or not, the delivery, like, again, a man can go out in the world and take all kinds of, beatings and whatnot from the world. But, when he comes home, the delivery is important. How the message is delivered is important, because he's home, he's taking down his guards, his he doesn't have to fight he shouldn't have to fight off any adversaries, or he shouldn't have to defend anything. He should be able to come home, feel safe, and be able to receive constructive criticism. You be able to receive the message, delivered in a certain way. So, like I said, man, she was spot on in what she was saying. I think that a lot more care should be taken when it comes to these the treatment of men in that type of relationship, if you claim to be that person, that partner for that man. So
yeah, facts. Thanks. Go ahead, Kev. Jump in.
Yeah, it's the weaponized vulnerability. Um, it's been way too many times that in my like relationship interactions, I've heard a number of things that were said in confidence, said in the most vulnerable of places and spaces, used against me in arguments. And when that happens, it takes a lot to find yourself vulnerable again with a person. And it's not just one, like Rich said, it's some, but it's a lot. And it's not to say that men don't do it too, because I'm certain at a point I've been that person, which is why we go to therapy. And I have, female friends who deal with the opposite sex, and you hear these kind of things in like the situations and scenarios that they deal with. So, I realize it is possible on both sides, but it is something that men often deal with, and it's for a lot of the reasons that Rich said. Like, we are expected to be like strong at all times. We're expected to just cope, to just deal at all times. And so, if we find ourselves vulnerable, it's considered a sign of weakness, as opposed to a sign of strength, which again, if you go to therapy, you realize how strong you have to be to make yourself vulnerable. That takes some real work. So when it's held against you, like it's jarring, it's damning. So like, I think of all the things that were said, that's probably the part that sticks out to me the most, because it is like literally triggering, knowing some of the things, and probably the one thing I'll say is my relationship with my father. I'm to a great point now, but it's been like, I would say, from my junior year of high school up until my mother passed. It was probably when, and maybe the year or two after. Um, like one of the hardest aspects of me to like come to grips with. So to ever like have that part used against me in an argument, it's like it takes a minute to come back from that. So yeah, it's a hard thing to deal with.
Yeah, and I think that in any relationship, something like that's going to be tough. Like, being vulnerable is not easy really for anybody. And I'm saying in particular though, it's not easy for men because again, we're trained, we're hardwired to, to be strong, to be the rock, to be the, the fierce competitor, to have emotion but not show emotion, that kind of thing, right? So yeah, it's a horrible, horrible feeling to have any of that stuff used against you, right? Especially in an argument, or any kind of disagreement or dispute or whatever the case may be, right? That's a terrible place to be. And again, yeah, absolutely, it's true of everybody. I want to go back to the preacher real quick. The very, very, very first thing he said one reason why marriages fail is because the men won't lead, and the women won't help, right? Sorry, the husband won't lead and the wife won't help. Okay, um, the leading part is an intricate job, right? And often it's hard to be a great leader if you've never seen great leadership. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's often very tough to be a great leader if you haven't seen great leadership. In the same way, it's tough to be a great husband if you haven't seen, a great husband in your home. Now again, that does not apply to everybody. So to those of y'all who saw trash husbands in your house and you're now great husbands in your household and you learned everything what not to do, shout out to you. But you are the exception, not the rule. Right? And by and large, it's kind of not impossible, but very tough to, in a sense, describe a color you've never seen before, right? So, men, I think we need to learn and apply better leadership principle. Like, and again, in my opinion, in your marriage, the best place to look for this stuff is in the Word. And so, your main jobs are to, provide, protect, and profess passion profess passion to your wife, right? That's essentially our job, right? That is our role, and that's if you're not doing those things well. And provision comes in multiple different ways. It's not just getting their hair and nails did. I mean, that's cool if you can do that, but that's not all provision is, right? I think we need to take a better account of where leadership is, but also one thing he said about the helping part, and something my mom told me a while ago. Your wife is supposed to be, according to the Bible, your helpmeet, which means to help meet the needs of her husband. And what does that mean? That means whatever that means. That means whatever that means. And it means different things for different people under different circumstances. And that's something that needs to be understood. So that vulnerable piece is men understanding that we need somebody, we need that person to, that we can go through this thing called life with. But that's not going to judge us. It's going to help us build up. It's going to, build us up and be there for us when things are rough and so on. And of course, we plan to do the same thing and also provide and protect in that way. But we have to be able to lead. And then at the same time, the women have to understand that being the helpmeet, a lot of women need to understand that being the helpmeet, being the wife, means that you help in whatever way that means, which is all the ways. Right?
All of them.
All of them. Right? That's why marriage is it's not a joke. It's not like a thing that you just, it shouldn't be, I should say. It should not be a joke, just something you go into haphazardly. You just, oh yeah, I really like this one. I likes this one. Let me go ahead and get married to this one. It shouldn't be like that, right? It is a commitment. It is you're saying a lot more to that person than let's have a ceremony, eat some cake, tell some trash stories and, all that kind of stuff. And all that shit's fun or whatever. Trust me. Right. But it's a lot more that happens after the ceremony. Like we say, the work happens on the other side. I'll just say on the other side. Shout out to Spring 24. But the work comes on the other side. So anyway.
It's the gospel.
Let's check on this comment real quick. Preacher had a good word in there. He said, stop competing with God's purpose in your marriage. Boom. Boom. Right. What were y'all thoughts on that? Women being essentially trained in society today. What are your thoughts on women being trained in society to essentially compete with men as opposed to work with men? Cooperate with men.
Rich?
So here's what I'll say, right? Overall, I'm just, because this is a thought that's been going on in my head. Glasses came off. Like, if you want something, but you don't go into depth about what that comes with, like, you say you want something, and then you don't go deeper as, okay, what does that look like? What does that come with? If I want this, then this happens. Because I hear a lot of, I want. But then on the other side, when it comes with XYZ, it's like, is that what you really want then? Think about what it is you really want. Are you capable of handling that? Do you think that, do you really want that? Because it comes with certain things. I feel like we touched on this before. It's like, we all know that, men and women are different, so when it comes to these roles and what is it that you want? And guess what? You figure out what works for you, and then you make that work. But I think sometimes the problem is when you're asking for one thing, expecting another, but you said that you wanted this. You're expecting something else, but you said you wanted this. So it's like, really dive in. I mean, that's all I got. It's like, dive into it. Don't just stop at like, I want this because it sounds good or whatever. Know yourself, and then figure out what you know what. Throw want out the window. Figure out what you need. Figure out what you need, and then make that work.
I mean, put the glasses back on. Glasses back up. Go ahead, Kev. You got anything you want to add?
I'm ready to put it on a t-shirt. That I've said it before. I'll say it again. There is no no correction without protection, or
no protection without correction.
See, the liquor is doing what it's supposed to.
That's right. That's right.
And like I think I'll always say this as the only unmarried man on this podcast. Tonight, I understand that there are aspects of this that I've not seen. What I can respect about my journey, though, is that I keep myself around what I aspire to. So, I hang with Trey, I hang with Rich, I hang with Baloo, I hang, with Lamar. Like I see, the lives of successful married couples and what that looks like, because again, you're supposed to surround yourself with the things that you aspire to. If you want to be rich, you go hang around rich people and figure out what they do to make themselves rich. So like I've seen some good, I've seen some bad, I've seen some ugly. I've seen divorce, I've seen infidelity, I've seen people who decided to stay after infidelity, I've seen people who decided to leave. Like I've been a witness to these things. But I've always like witnessed kind of where the breakdown takes place. And it's in like people forgetting that relationships are not self-serving. I've been seeing this meme a lot lately. And I don't even know if it's a meme or just a phrase, but it was like a man will give up his happiness to, preserve a woman's. A woman will give up her man to preserve her happiness. And as much as I hate to say it, like there's a lot of truth to that. And it's a huge like aspect of our culture. If you follow the right social media pages, it's always like what a man should do for a woman that's superficial. And again, I think Rich said it, that, if you got it, cool. But like, oh no, Trey said it. If you got it, cool. If you can get your woman's hair done, nails done, everything did, then that's cool. But like, that's a very surface level thing. Like, are you, asking her about her dreams and like why she's not pursuing them in the way that she spoke about, early in your relationship? Are you looking at the ways that she's changed from 25 to 30, from 30 to 40, from 40 to 50? Because the person that you started your relationship in life with is not the same person 10 years later. Hell, for what it's worth, a lot of us make a change every single year. So like if you're not in tune with your partner, you miss a lot of those aspects. And that's like all of the stuff that we're seeing with this. If you're self-serving, you're going to see a lot more failure than you will success, because like from what I understand biblically, marriage means that you are willing to lay down your life for your partner. So like there are things about you that have to die in order for you to find success in the union that God blesses. So it can't be self-serving, and people by nature, we are, self-preserving, selfish people by design, by nature. So you literally have to sacrifice yourself in order to work to meet the needs of your partner. And that's a great task to ask, but it's something that you have to be mature enough to handle. And in a lot of cases, we just don't see that.
It has to be greater than you. Once you get married, once you commit, once, you know, you decide we're going to move forward, like it's no longer just about you. And for a lot of people, that's a tough pill to swallow. That it's just not about you. It's not always about you. Everything isn't about you. A lot of times, whoever you are, by the way, right? Because you is interchangeable. You is the, you know, the guy, the husband or the wife, right? But it's not about you, and it can't be about you all the time. Now, that doesn't mean, my bad. That doesn't mean completely sacrifice your happiness. That doesn't mean don't have standards. That doesn't mean allow yourself to be abused. That doesn't mean allow yourself to be a doormat and be walked over. But it does mean that sometimes it is about sacrificing for the whole. Giggity. Sorry, I'm sorry. Look is also doing what it's doing on this side too. But it's about sacrificing. A lot of times it is going to be about sacrificing what you want for what you need, as you pointed out, Rich. So if you're not ready to make that commitment to that person, again, we're married, as I say it all the time, right? It's for better or for worse, and for richer or for poorer, richer or for poorer, richer or poor, right? Sickness and in health, right? For better or for worse, till death do us part. Right? And whatever vows you said should be some variation of that. It's gonna be some variation of that. So that's what it is. And you know, the commitment is not only to you, but really it's a commitment that you both make, you know, to God in front of all these people. Right? All these people bear witness to the commitment we're making to God to be together through all the above. Right? Now, again, that doesn't excuse every type of behavior. I want to make that very clear, because some people might say, "Oh, well, that means that a person can just do whatever they want," and "Oh, well, we just married. Oh, well, it's too late." I'm not saying that. Right? There are some lines, right? But I see a lot of times a lot of people are getting married because of the feeling of love and not really understanding like the commitment behind the marriage. Right? The commitment is a lot deeper than just that feeling of, oh, I love her, oh, I love him so much. Oh, it's so fun being around him. Oh, they make me feel so good. All right, okay, cool. But what if that or for worse happens? What you gonna do? Not if, I'm sorry, let me phrase that. When that or for worse come, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Right? Oh, it ain't worth my happiness. All right, then. Well, then don't go down that road. You're not ready, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? He'll still be there. He'll still be there if he's supposed to be with you. If you're supposed to be with him, he'll still be there. That is, if God's at the front, you know, let him direct your path to the wife. That's the good thing. All right, let me stop. Let me know. Let me stop.
Preach the gospel, man. What are we talking about? It's God and
right. We are we no. We're not gonna do it. Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? No. Okay. All right. We ain't gonna do it. Oh man. All right. I think we actually might be able to make good time out here, man. We might be able to get this done. Yo, shout out to all of y'all hanging in there with us, man. Big time for the comments. Hey, man, thanks for joining us. Again, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Tell them to jump on. Tune in. Let us know what you think. Give us your thoughts. Give us your honest opinion. Give us your honest feedback. What do you think? I'm seeing the amens in the comments. Woo! We got the amens going on in the comments. That's what we talking about. That's what we talking about. We love it, baby. We love it. You know, I'm just saying, man. There's commitment there. And you know, all of that has responsibility. And so, with that said, I think we can end on this one. Very interesting subject. We're gonna bring a fair or foul back real quick for this one. Definitely get you shots ready for this. We have a question for who loves more authentically, men or women? You might have seen this, you might not have seen it, but we're gonna talk about it. So here we go. Fair or foul on deck. Let's
Girls because they have kids.
I think men love more authentically than women.
Huh?
Oh, and this is what I mean by that.
You said say that again.
I said I think men love more authentically than women. And this is why.
I can agree, but go ahead.
Women are in love with love.
Yes.
And because of that, I think you guys are wired to stick anybody in that spot. You can make him fit. You guys are socialized from little girls to fall in love with the process, the pageantry of love, the courting phase and the dates and the, you know what I'm saying? He put his hand on my thigh and we walked down the aisle and all that stuff. On the flip side, when a man figures out or realizes that he's in love, that's not a happy experience. He's like, God damn it. Because that is a responsibility.
He's telling the truth.
Now, because again, our two jobs are provide and protect. I love her means that I'm willing to die for her. That's not part of your responsibility. Right. So we're not going to be as flippant or as, generous with that love. Plus, we're not socialized to fall in love with the whole process and shit like that.
Okay, all right. Well, what you think, fellas? Men love more authentically than women. Fair or foul? What do you think?
It's the fairest.
So I'm gonna tell us. Let me start
Let
here.
me talk to you. He's got his LA night going on.
Let me start here, right? Because I was actually watching some little new-ish show. I don't know how new or old it is, whatever that relative time frame is to you. But it's a show where they pop a balloon if they would like to continue talks with the person that's out on the floor, right? It's like a dating show, right? So you got one person that comes out, and you got a line of, in one case, there's a woman that comes out, it's a line of men with balloons. They pop it if they don't want to continue, or they keep the balloon if they want to continue and find out, or go on a date or whatever it is. And then of course, there's a guy that comes out, and there's a line of women, and they got balloons, and they pop it if they don't want to continue, or leave the balloon if they want to continue, and go towards a date or whatever, right? And so for the couple of shows that I saw, because I wanted to see this comparison, right? I saw the ladies show where, a bunch of ladies, I don't remember, it's like 8 or 10 of them, whatever. And, several guys come out. And as soon as the guy is coming out, it's like pop, 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 right? Boom. It's like right off the break. Women are popping, these balloons, and then when I watch the guys portion, when it's a bunch of guys, 8 or 10 guys, and the lady comes out, it was only maybe it was definitely less than a handful of times that any of the guys would actually pop a balloon. It was like they waited until they heard what the lady, they saw the lady, and then it wasn't until they like started hearing what she was about and this, that, and the third. So when I was watching some of the ladies, what happened was they actually wanted their balloon back after they heard from the guy. So I thought that was interesting in itself because I feel I feel like sometimes guys get accused of being shallow or basing off of appearance or whatever, but it was crazy to see that in the majority of a guy walking out, the majority of popping the balloon at first sight was the females, and it wasn't until. So I kind of get what he's saying, like the females, not all, right, some, right, they can fit anybody into their definition, and on this show a lot of females were popping balloons after they heard what another chick had said. What another female had said. Right? They were, and well, I popped mine because I didn't like what you said to her, or I didn't like that you were showing her more attention. But you're on a dating show. Whereas the guys, it was different. It was because it was different. It was either because they were just really, some of those guys were ignorant, young. It was anyway, it was just different. And so I can agree with what he's saying. It's like, for us, it's like, man, it's like I'm willing to die for this woman. Like I'm like, it almost feels like I'm giving it, not almost, this is what's happening. I'm giving up. This is it. I'm selling out right here. I'm putting all my eggs in this basket. Once a guy has really officially done that, now you do, ladies, have to combat, and guys now, and guys, you got to combat against these people who are just straight up lying to you. It is what it is. You gotta set, but you have to set that standard and really hold on to your guns, like, and really like figure out and discern, like, is this person serious? Is this person, really about what they saying they about? But it's like, once a guy really, man, once he's all in, he's all in. So, I mean, once a man is all in, it's all in. I'm just saying that,
I feel like it's a classic song called "When a Man Loves a Woman," where they detail all the things that he's willing to do for the woman he loves. When a man, yeah, that one right there. I so this was 2013, going into 14, and this. I had dated this girl in 2006, 7, and we reconnected in 2013. And I can still to this day remember the moment I realized that, like, I was in love with her again. She was actually driving her car. We had pulled up to my mother's house after a Sunday service, and she was like playing that day, and it actually like apologized because she wasn't dressed whatever. So she was the plainest I had seen her in a minute. That girl was never more radiant than she was in that moment, and it was just because of the time we spent. And once like it clicked how I felt, like it was much like he said. The first words out of my mouth was "damn," like, and you have a realization of like what that means, like to feel like the person that you're with is like truly your responsibility, like their life, health, safety, well-being is now your responsibility. And again, social media cracks me up, but it's like, and there are a couple of different iterations of the video, but it like shows the man, and he's like on guard, like looking for every possible danger. And he's like sitting in the restaurant, refuses to have his back towards the door. And then they show the woman, and she's like just throwing down on the food, oblivious to anything that's taking place around her because she's secure in, like, you know what I'm saying, in the space that her man has her in, understanding he's literally going to like provide and protect for her. So she just gets to be oblivious. Like to love like a woman means that like everything now falls into your lap. And that's in any kind of capacity, because even like when my female friends are around me, like my mind is constantly, how can I make sure that they're safe? How can I, get them from point A to point B? Like, you're not going to get too close to them. It ain't too many things you're going to say to them. Like, so I feel that way about all of them. Like, it's just an innate like thing in us. So like it's a wild feeling, but it isn't like, it's a wonderful feeling, but it's not wrapped up in a bow like Valentine's Day presents it. It's a, oh shit, now this means I gotta dot 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 dot, and all of those things, like I said, they go against the self-serving nature of the human, and tap completely into the sacrifice of myself for the needs of my partner. So like he ain't said not one lie.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. And if you think about it, really, all of that, what you guys mentioned was what we've been talking about all night: protection and provision, right? And really, that's why the father gives, traditionally the father gives the daughter to, the husband, right? The son-in-law, right? He's literally like symbolically giving that responsibility of provision for this child, provision for this girl, right? Who has been under my roof, who I've taken care of financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I've been the one taking care of her. I am now giving you the responsibility of provision and protection, right? That's how important things like that are, right? Again, going back to how I'm putting respect on marriage, right? How important this whole thing, that the traditions of this actually are, right? Again, I'm not saying everything traditional is great, but there are some reasons behind some things, right? And that's an important point to understand. Another point you brought up, Kev, is that about making the ladies around us feel safe, for that excuse me, that responsibility trickling down to whoever is around us, whatever ladies are around us, we making them feel comfortable and safe and so on. I remember this, back around the same time frame you're talking about in the frat, where those that came to Paeta land, if those that came to Paeta land knew they were in a safe space, right? If you came through, you were in a safe space, you were good, and they knew it, right? There was not a care in the world, and I think if you go back and ask, a great many of them, they'll tell you the same, right? And that's what it is. And but again, when you fall in love, that means you feel that for this one person above all of those people, right? Like me and you above all else, right? Above all else, above everyone else is me and you against the world. Again, that's how vitally important this thing is. So, is it fair to say men love more authentically? Men can love more. I'll say men can love more authentically. I think the right man loves very, very authentically, and I won't even so much go to saying more or less necessarily, but a very authentic love is understanding that I am responsible for this person until the end. I'm responsible for them. They're responsible for me. We are in this together. We make kids. We create life together. We're responsible for them. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's fair. His reasoning for saying that men love more authentically, I think is fair. But man,
Well, ultimately, it's not a competition, man. You know, I
It's
think
not. Right.
it's not a competition. It really is, because if we can, just come together and really, build together, grow together, it needs to be that way. Like, there is no plan B.
Over the counter.
Man, absolutely love more authentically. Boom. All right, well, there it is. Look, man, I tried to move a little bit more to the middle on this one, but we know what time it is, dog. Fellas, y'all know what it is. No, seriously though, there's a reason why all those things we mentioned were in place, the traditions, the provision, protection, all that stuff. There's a reason all that stuff is in place. You know, it's for you. And I mean, honestly, if you think about it, everything men do basically in one way, shape, or form is for you.
Bro.
Just saying.
Listen. It was let me see if I can get this right, because it was a wise guy named Steve. He was talking about this. Let me see if I can get it right. He was saying how whether you're in a new relationship, old relationship, it doesn't really matter. But it's all about the team, It's all about the team. It's not about, her opinion, his opinion. It's not about that. It's about the team. Okay.
But you also got to be in order, though. If you're gonna be on the team, you got to be in order, right?
Definitely in order.
Got to be in order.
Definitely in order. And it's about the team, and just remember, if nothing else, right? Just if you're still having trouble, you're still having trouble like understanding, guys, just have her sit on your face so you can see where she's coming from.
How did we get here? How did we get here?
I'm supposed to be here.
I don't understand how. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're actually gonna get out of here on time. That's what's up. Hey, shout out to all of y'all in the comments. Y'all made it happen. I don't know what happened. I'm not Kev, take us out of here. I don't what.
I'm gonna drink my water and then go to bed. Cause what? Taurus season turn up. And happy birthday to my niece Tamia. She's a Morganite right now. And I'm proud of her. She's singing in Morgan Spire and all of that good stuff. So shout out, happy birthday to Tamia. Hit the like button, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. We coming up on the season end. And y'all need to be here. Like, y'all absolutely need to be here. It's gonna be complete and utter chaos. So, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. So shout out to you.
If you made it to this point, hey, thank you. Thank you. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share. But also, life is too short, man. I'm reaching for a chair that's not even there. Life is too short. Okay. Live, love, and laugh. Live, laugh, and love. All the above, man. Because we don't know when that time is coming, but we appreciate y'all for coming by, stopping by, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy your weekend.
Great mystery of life is the length. It is what it is, man. So appreciate your people while you can. Give them their flowers while you still can, while they're still here. And in the meantime, keep your head on the swivel. Question everything. Stay skeptical. All right? There's a war for your mind. I know. But big shout out, man. Big shout out to all of y'all out there, all of you watching and listening, all of you talking about it, all of you sharing and telling friends. We appreciate all you guys. Big shout out to all the families, man. Everybody that's here. All of our families, man. I hope everybody prospers and is in good health, man. Shout out to my sister. Happy birthday, Charlotte. Happy birthday. Enjoy your day. I hope you enjoyed your day. Stuff gets crazy out here, man, especially when you got children. And children is wild, right? Your child is wild. My child is wild. Their kids is wild. All the kids is wild. It's crazy out here, man. It's crazy out here. So let's have fun, man, and let's stay safe and, stay encouraged and all that. That's it, man. I ain't got nothing else. We done. We out of here, man. Big shout out to all of you again. Y'all are the greatest of all time, every single one of you. Couldn't do this without you. We'll see you next week. Season finale. One more episode and we done.